Hey, everybody. Hey, Russell, Faith First Fishing. Thanks for stopping by. You guys are the first online. Give it a few minutes. Um, thanks. A lot of fish in that thumbnail. Got a lot of fish turned in this week. So we'll get to it in just a little bit. I got some announcements. I'm going to give it a little bit of time here, let more people come into the live. I'm sure there'll be a few more. Usually takes about 3 or 4 minutes for everybody to jump in. So got 4 people online right now. Hey, Gary, what's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. My tournament partner of last weekend. Me and Gary had I think the right term would be a very long 2-day tournament on Lake Seminole in Georgia/Florida this last weekend. But it was fun. We always have fun when we go fishing together. Right, buddy? So, hey, Mike, Big Bait Posse. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're feeling well. We're giving a little bit of time here for everybody to get in before we start talking about before I throw up the first week's, yes, long and yes, fun, Gary says. Before I start throwing up the first week's results, I also have a huge announcement for everyone participating in the channel and that follow Shane Flynn Outdoors. We got some major updates today that I'll get into just a little bit later once we get a few more people online. Yeah, give it if you don't mind, guys, hit the old thumbs up. Helps the algorithm machine, if you know what I mean. I will go ahead and throw the link up if anybody wants to jump on board. I'll bring you up in just a few minutes after we make the announcements and bring the tournament spreadsheet up. So see, we got Gary, Mike, Big Bait Posse, Russell. Like I said, we got 9 people on board right now. We'll give it just a minute or two before we get into any of the details. It's okay. My daughter's taking the trash out. I should put that on video. That doesn't happen often. Hey, Steve from Wyoming. Thanks for stopping by. Steve will always be a treasured member of Shane Flynn Outdoors. He was subscriber number 500 and has a rightful place on the banner up there. Steve, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. We just set at 8 folks here. We'll get into the tournament details as soon as I get around 15 folks in here. Want to make sure we got plenty of people online. We don't have to repeat it. By the way, it doesn't really matter for you folks that are here, but if you're tuning into this after the fact, you can always go back on YouTube and Facebook if you missed the live and watch to see the tournament results. Had quite a few people ask, is there a live tournament update board? Hey, Josh, good to see you, buddy. I do not do a live tournament update board. Primarily, the reason that I don't is I like to do the live and keep it to once a week. And it's so tough to keep a tournament update board going without hiring a staff of people, if you know what I mean. So for Faith First Fishing, it's got done from a track meet inside a Mexican restaurant. Hopefully I'll be able to hear. Well, I hope you can hear as well, but you'll be able to see the tournament results here pretty soon. Hey, Nick. I says, I agent caught any big ones, but I've caught a lot of small ones. Well, Nick, we all have probably a little bit of small items. I've been catching. I was in a 2-day tournament at Lake Seminole last week, and as Gary from Gary's Fish Tales can tell you, I caught a lot of little ones. I did end up second place for big bass, but it was late in the game when I got that big one. Caught a lot of small. So, but I always say you got to weed through the little ones to get to the big ones sometimes. So Nick, keep at it. I think you'll hook a lunker before you know it. So give it just a couple more minutes. Seminole's your home. I didn't know that was your home lake. Faith First Fishing, and I forgot your name, your first name. Please throw it out there where I'll know that. Yeah, we were there. We were actually fishing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was a 2-day spring tournament for the Lunkers Bass Club out of Florida. I'm a member of that club. Gary from Gary's Fish Tales is a member there too. So it was their spring fling, if you will, their 2-day tournament. It was cold. I mean, we had a cold front come through Friday night. It rained heavy, and it was cold, windy, north winds, and it was tough fishing. And that's what happens when you get a post front bass. And I feel like we did okay in the conditions. I think the first day I caught 10. First day of the tournament, I think I caught 10 total, but I only brought 5 to the scale. And then I got 1 to the scale, and it was, a 1/64th. I measured it on our board on the board in a boat with Gary, and it showed 12 inches. But when I got it up there, they measured it, and it was just like 1/64th, like a thumbnail thickness from 12 inches. And I got a 1-pound penalty for bringing in a short fish. Yeah, you're about an hour from Bainbridge Landing. So we were, I can't remember the area that we were fishing, but it was there probably by boat, probably 35, 40 minutes from Bainbridge down on the main lake. It's a pretty popular lodge that we're in. Yeah, it was a massive cold front. It was cold. When I signed up for that tournament 3 or 4 months ago, I did not expect to launch and it'd be 41 degrees in the morning. And I think there was a frost warning the night before as well. So, but that's the way it goes. You got to get out there and try to catch them anyway. And, we did okay. We didn't win. We didn't lose. We won a little bit of money. So it was all good. It was a great time. So south of Bainbridge, Wingate Lodge. Gary just told me we're at Wingate Lodge, which is where they supposedly at the lodge there in the restaurant is where the idea of BASS was started for bass tournaments in the United States, with Ray Scott and a few other folks there came up with the idea for bass tournaments. All right. Hey, Warren Cole. Good to see you. Texas Kayak Bass Fishing is here. I was kind of waiting until we got more folks in here before we went to the standing. So, but we got 14, looking at 15. Okay, you never heard of the lodge. Okay, but I tell you, Seminole is a great lake. I mean, if you ever get a chance to get out there, it was post spawn, but we came across the flats where the bass had spawned, and I was just shocked. Hundreds and maybe thousands of beds in the flats where the bass had spawned, and they probably just spawned a week or two prior for us being there. It was definitely post spawn, but it was awesome. Yeah, the wind. I hear down in Texas too. It's been the fronts. It's just been one front after another, and it kicks you in the rear end when you're out there fishing. Russell, can I fish the southern end too? Maybe. We'll chat about that in just a minute. Oh, John and Lindy are listening from Headwaters. All right, awesome. And Lindy, I got your update. John and Lindy, I got your updates. I updated the spreadsheet with your latest catches. So for those that don't know, Lindy Hedrick is the reigning Shane Flynn Outdoors big bass champion from last year. So she is out there, and she is going to try to retain that title, and she put in a nice one today. Yeah, I tell you, Seminole is a big lake. If you get out there and you have problems with the boat, you're in trouble. So I can imagine you had to give somebody a tow back. If they had problems, it's a heck of a day out on Seminole if you had those issues. So, hey, before we get into the tournament results, I just want to make a big announcement for everybody. This impacts everybody that participates in our tournaments, and anyone who just as a whole participates in Shane Flynn Outdoors. And first, I just want to tell everyone thank you, right? I don't have a channel and I don't have these tournaments without the folks that participate in these tournaments. And I appreciate everybody. One of my goals for the year, I started these free tournaments last year, and I was doing this out of the kindness of my heart, and it was, out of my wallet and funding the prizes and everything. But as of today, I can officially announce we are a sponsored tournament. Omnia Fishing came on board and is now officially a sponsor of Shane Flynn Outdoors. They will be sponsoring the prizes, which will be gift cards to Omnia Fishing. Omnia Fishing is a really great tackle outlet, very similar to Tackle Warehouse and some of the others that are out there, probably not as well known as Tackle Warehouse, but have just as much, pretty close to the same amount of tackle and reels and rods and everything. Everything you can think of, Omnia Fishing has it. And they are now officially the sponsors for Shane Flynn Outdoors free tournaments, and they will be sponsoring all of our prizes. They will be the same for now: $200 for first, $100 for second place, and $50 for third. But they will be providing electronic gift cards to their to buy fishing equipment at Omnia Fishing. I'm super excited. I've been working hard trying to get sponsorship, and it finally came through and kind of finalized it today. You can go to Omnia Fishing, the website, and you can go to participants, and you can see Shane Flynn Outdoors is one of the participants of Omnia Fishing now. We do have, you can look us up on their website. I can bring it up right here. I'll share it in just a minute. So the other big part of this is it impacts you. If you go to fishing organizations there, I'll bring it up in just a minute. So this impacts every one of you as well. And what I mean by that is they've also decided that anyone that participates in a Shane Flynn Outdoors tournament, you will receive a 15% discount code for everything on their website. So I have those discount codes. I will be emailing them out to everyone who participates in Shane Flynn Outdoor tournament, and you can get 15% off of anything, exception of like two companies that don't recognize. I think it's One Reel Company, Humminbird, and I can't remember. That'll be the details that I emailed out. But there's who makes this rod right here? St. Croix. St. Croix doesn't recognize their 15% off, but they have St. Croix rods. But anything else on their website, if you participate in Shane Flynn Outdoors tournaments, win, lose, whatever, you get 15% off of everything, with the exception of those three companies on their website. I think it's an outstanding deal. And if you win, that's great. You're going to get free stuff from them. But if you don't win and you need a new pack of Senko worm from Gary Yamamoto or spinnerbait from Booyah, it's 15% off. You can't beat it. So it's another way to say thank you to everybody for participating in our free tournaments, and also it's another way of helping grow our sport, if you will, and get more people participating. With that, they do have a program that I will tell you guys about that you probably would be interested in, and this only lasts until Monday. So they have a limited window. It's kind of like an Amazon program. It's called their Elite membership. You pay $29 to join their Elite membership program, and you get free shipping for all of your tackle all year long. With that, though, up until Monday, they will give you a $30 gift refund, or $30 towards your first purchase at Omnia Fishing. So you're getting that for free. And if you order a lot of tackle like I do, I pay out the rear end in shipping, it seems like. Nick Herbert saying that's awesome. He uses them, have used them recently. Omnia is a great company. So you can use that Elite membership, $29. If you do it by Monday, they'll give you $30 off your first purchase once you join as an Elite member. So it just cancels it out, and you get free shipping, free 2-day shipping from Omnia Fishing. It doesn't matter if you buy a pack of hooks or $500 worth of tackle. It's all free fishing, all free shipping on that. So really, really good, really good deal. And it's awesome to have a sponsor that's willing to give back to the folks that are out there participating in our tournament. So I'll be sending out an email with that discount code for everybody. I promised them I would limit it to only participants at Shane Flynn Outdoors for that 15% discount code to anyone who participates. So really excited about the sponsorship. I think it's awesome that we have somebody that have a company that recognizes the average person that wants to go out and have fun and catch fish and compete, if you're from the bank, from a kayak, from a boat, as I always say, and they're totally on board and supporting us here at Shane Flynn Outdoors. So with that said, let's talk about the tournament. Again, more to follow. I'll send out an email in the next 3 to 4 days with the discount code for everybody to use at Omnia Fishing. Real quick, I am going to present my screen here. Real quick, I'll just show you this. This is Omnia Fishing's website. And if you go to their members and you go down to Shane Flynn onto their membership, you can see Shane Flynn Outdoors is a member of Omnia Fishing now. And they have really cool fishing reports that you can do and get more percentages off. And I'll talk about that at a later date. But this is Omnia Fishing right here. And they got all the great stuff that you get at any other fishing store. So I'm going to stop that share and I am going to go to this spreadsheet. And this is the current standings. If anyone can, hope everybody can see that. Let me make sure I got that going. Let me bring up the spreadsheet here. I always do this the first time I stop share. Let me do a present, share screen. And I want to share. Let me go back out. Hang with me for just a second. Cancel. Present. Share screen. And I can't get the spreadsheet up. Hold on. There we go. Share. Everybody should be able to see that. This is our current standings as of today in the Shane Flynn Outdoors Southern Big Bass Tournament. And the largest bass lengthwise is from Kevin Adams in Georgia at 22.25 inches, which is a nice bass. Believe it or not, it only weighed 4 pounds and 4 ounces. Followed by Josh Caney there in Alabama with a 21.5. And Josh, I'm still shocked how fat that bass was at 5.71. Carlos Maldonado, I'm not sure. I think you're in Florida. 20.75 is the in third place right now, followed by Kyle McLaughlin in Florida at 20.25. Brian Green here in Virginia. Lyndia Hedrick, Tyler Hayes, all at 20, right there in the hunt. And as you can see, John Bandy, 19.5, Tony Bailey, on down the line. So this is where we're at as of today. So this is the links, and they are in first through, what would that be? First through 20 as we speak right now. That is the standings. So lots of other fishermen who haven't, or if I missed anybody, if you put it in the last 30 minutes or so, I don't have an update. But that's as of right now. What we have for the standings, 22.25 is the largest bass as of today. And I'm going to stop sharing that right now. All right. So that's where we're at in the standings. Pretty big. You know, some nice bass already turned in. One thing I want to clear up for everybody that's fishing, you do not have to turn in every bass that you catch. If you've turned in a 20-inch bass, you don't have to turn anything in smaller to me, unless you're just wanting to brag about it. I'll look at it, don't get me wrong. But this is not the 5 bass draw. This is for the largest bass. I just want to make sure that's clear. So if you send in a 19, or 20 or 22 or 23 or whatever it is, you don't have to send me anything in smaller. You just want to send anything in that's larger, right? So, but again, if you want to send them in, I have clips. I'll put it in my folders of all the fish turned in. That's fine. But I'm not going to register anything smaller than your largest bass on the spreadsheet, where I can keep a good track of where we're at. So with that said, I don't see a lot of too many folks. Did I lose? It's 8:17. No, I didn't lose it. So everybody, I'm still there online. If there's any questions, concerns, thoughts, please throw them out there. We can talk. If you want to jump up in here, I'll go ahead and throw the link in. If you'd like to jump up and join me online here, that would be great. So we're moving right along with a lot of fish coming in the door. So it's exciting. I really do think we're going to see something closer to 24 be the winner. I think it's just a matter of time before someone jumps in, someone hooks into a with several fish. Hey, Midwest, you're okay bombarding my email. Don't worry about that. I just want everybody to know I'm only going to register your largest fish on the spreadsheets. I'm not going to put all your fish on the spreadsheet. So, but I have got quite a few fish, but that's all good. It's all good. I will tell you though, it does seem like this last weekend, which I thought I'd get a lot, we'd have quite a few more over 20 inchers caught. I think weather had a lot to do in the south for an impact. I mean, like I said, they're in Georgia, Florida, that cold front moved through and it turned them off. I know down in Texas, it's been tough with front after front moving through. And I mean, it's odd the bass have spawned and you're waking up to 42-degree temperatures in the morning, 39-degree temperature, whatever it was. So it makes for tough fishing. But I think as the weather warms up in the next few weeks, we'll start seeing quite a few more big ones roll in the door. So yeah, I'm sure it's finally warming up in South Georgia. On Monday, when I left Florida down in Panama City, I could definitely tell it was much warmer than it was from Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, Josh said it got cold there in Alabama, so I can imagine. 22 degrees, high of 42, 25 mile per hour wind. That cold wind on the lake, that's what really hurts. If you're in a bass boat and you're speeding across the lake in the morning, it's cold anyway, right? And I'm guilty of not wrapping up enough sometimes when I'm blasting across the lake. But you warm up pretty quick after you stop and you start fishing. But when the wind's blowing 20 or 15 on that ice cold water, you don't warm up. You got to be wrapped up in it. And I love to get out there and fish, period. 29 here, if the wind's at 25. Man, I'm going to say no, I'm not going on the lake. I'm going to avoid it if I can, if it's 29 degrees or 25 mile per hour winds. Yeah, hand warmers were nice. I actually, it was cold here in Virginia. I wasn't here this weekend again, but one of the local lakes here, we have a Facebook page, and the guy had put a little portable kerosene heater in his boat and was warming his hands with that kerosene heater and still fishing. Now that's commitment. I just don't think I'm that committed. Unless it is a tournament that I'm trying to win or something, I'm committed that way. But if it's just to get out there and fish, I might pass, especially 29 degrees and 25 mile per hour winds, because that's going to put you around that 5 to 7 degree wind chill mark. And that's uncomfortable. And hey, I have fished, no kidding, at 30 below zero, ice fishing in Alaska. Truth be told, you get acclimated to the cold, especially up in Alaska when it stays cold that long. And Gary and I, from Gary's Fish Tales, we ice fish in Minnesota and in North Dakota. But when you're on open water and it's wind blowing like that's not the same as ice fishing. And a lot of people get ice shacks too. So, all right. Any questions? Anything? Any concerns? Everybody good? Oh, you were fishing another tournament. That's the only reason you went on a lot. I get it, right? I get it. Someone did ask this question. Let me just, in case you guys are wondering, if you are fishing a local tournament with a club like we were this last week, like Gary from Gary's Fish Tales, he's in the tournament as well. If he'd have caught a fish that he wanted to register in that tournament, you can still register your fish, even though you're fishing in your local tournament, in our Shane Flint Outdoors big bass competition, through any of our competitions. If you're in a tournament, local tournament, and you're in the Shane Flint Outdoors, you can use those same catches, but you still have to take your fish on a bump board, take the photo of your fish on a bump board, etc. So you can still register those fish even though you're fishing a local tournament, and use them in the Shane Flint Outdoors tournament. So. Just looking through the comments here. Gary said his fish were not worthy. Yeah, Gary had a little bit of a tough time. And I get it. I mean, at one point, and Gary, I'm going to chat a little bit about this. That first day of the tournament, I was catching all the fish, and Gary was just not having any luck. And hey, James, good. Thanks for stopping in. I'll throw up. By the way, everybody, I'll throw up the spreadsheet one more time before we call this, where folks that come in can take a look at the tournament results, or where we're at anyway in the tournament. But Gary had a tough day on the first day, and I was using a hand poured. I don't have them here. I thought I took them out of the tackle box. A local young teenager here in Virginia. I was at one of our fishing shows. He had some hand poured, Senko stick baits. And he told me, he goes, this is the best color for post spawn. And it's like a silver with black and silver fleck in it, or clear with black and silver fleck in it, 5-inch. I took those, and that's what I was catching all the fish on there on Seminole. And Gary wasn't having any luck, so I gave him one, and he finally got a bass on day 2. But it was tough, and I get it. If you're sitting next to somebody and they're catching fish and you're not, and you're using the same bait, you're just like, what am I doing wrong? So it can get to you on the mental side too, especially when the person in the boat with you is catching and you're not. So, hey, thanks for stopping by. I know you're there at a Mexican restaurant, First Fishing. Appreciate you stopping in and doing the tournament update. And have a good evening. Yeah. See who else. I'll make sure I haven't missed anybody here. Looks like I got everybody. Chris Hanna. You asked if we were in South Georgia. We were in South Georgia over the weekend. I don't know if you caught that. I tell Gary lives in Panama City, Florida. I tell him he lives in southern Alabama. So he's closer to southern Georgia there. But it's all good. Well, I'm going to throw up the spreadsheet one more time. I know James Tolbert, you just came in. I'm not sure if you had turned in a fish or not, but I will throw up the spreadsheet one more time to make sure everybody knows the standings. Let me share my screen. Present. Share screen. Window. I'm going to throw up. All right, there's the spreadsheet one more time. Kevin Adams from Georgia is winning. Josh Caney in second, and Carlos Maldonado in third. I think Carlos is in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. There's a few folks I don't have your state, as you can see, but most of you have your state. But that's where we're at as of today. And we got about 20 total people that have registered fish. All right, I'm going to stop the share there. All right, now we're back. Again, if you guys are, Carlos, you're in Florida, okay? I'm going to put that in that spreadsheet right now. I know that. Thanks for jumping in, Carlos. Oh, so Tom Bailey and Jane Told Fish down there with you in Texas. Okay, awesome. So, Carlos, you're in a pretty good position right now. So, Tim, we appreciate you being a part of it. And for those of you who just came in, I'll share this with the rest of you. And sorry for those who've heard this again. I'm pleased to announce, as of today, Shane Flynn Outdoors is officially sponsored by Omnia Fishing. So all of our prizes will be coming from Omnia Fishing, and the prize packages will still be the same. Charles Weldon. Okay, thanks, Midwest Blue Line. I'll make sure I got your name right. All of the prize amounts will be the same, but they will be. I do have you down as Charles Weldon there. Charles. All of our prizes will be the same amounts, but Omnia Fishing will be sponsoring us in our tournaments, as well as, hey, Steve Miller, thanks for stopping by. Also, everybody, in the next 3 to 4 days, you'll be getting another email from me from Omnia Fishing that is going to provide everyone who fishes in the Shane Flynn Outdoors tournament a 15% off discount code for everything at Omnia Fishing. And Omnia Fishing has just about everything you can get at Bass Pro Shop, Tackle Warehouse, probably exception of a few odds and end companies, but for the most part, your Strike Kings, your Gary Yamamoto's, all your major brands, they have everything there at very either the same or lower prices than all the other major tackle outlets. So they are offering us a 15% discount code. Also, if you join their elite program before Monday, you can join that for $29, and we'll give you free shipping on anything you order from Omnia Fishing. Plus, they will give you $30 towards your first purchase at Omnia Fishing, so you're really getting it for free. And if you buy stuff online like I do, I pay a lot in shipping. So if you can get free shipping, real true free shipping on all your fishing stuff, if you just order one small pack of hooks, that saves you $3 or $4 in shipping. So it's a really good deal, and they are really sticking their neck out to help sponsor all the folks that participate in our tournaments, and as well as provide us the prizes coming up. So it's just really an awesome thing that Omnia Fishing has stood up. And if you go to their website, you can look at participating. Let me give it to you accurately. If you go to their website, you can see the fishing organizations. If you click on that, you'll see that Shane Flynn Outdoors is one of their recognized fishing organizations on Omnia Fishing, and lots of other things I'll talk about with them in the future. You can do fishing reports on your local fishing lakes. You can order tackle based off those fishing reports. Pretty cool. And I did use it when I went to Lake Seminole, by the way. I looked at what was being caught on Lake Seminole and was like, I've got that. I may need to order that. So those fishing reports come in handy. And they also offer discount codes for like $5 off a purchase if you do, or 5% off a purchase if you do a fishing report on the local lake. Another thing that I haven't finalized out yet, but it will be coming, and I'll just kind of give you a sneak peek at this. If you use the Shane Flynn Outdoors discount code that you'll get, and you file a fishing report, they are going to do a monthly, don't know the amount, we're talking about $25 to $50 for anyone participating in Shane Flynn Outdoors tournament that does a fishing report. They're going to randomly select, if you do a fishing report, someone for a $25 to $50 gift card from Omnia Fishing every month during our tournament series. So something to incentivize doing the fishing reports. More details to follow. I'm just kind of giving you a sneak peek at some of the other things they're going to do for everyone that participates in the tournament. So it's a pretty good deal. I mean, they really have stepped up to help us out, and I'm really happy to be a part of Omnia Fishing and get the sponsorship and support that they're providing. So it's really exciting. I have been working hard. If you guys didn't know that, I've kind of mentioned that. It's been a lot of sending out videos and emails to companies, and sometimes getting nibbles, and sometimes, I mean, I won't mention any names because it's not correct to do that, but I've had companies go, yes, we'll sponsor you. Here's some things. And I get a sticker back. You know, I appreciate the sticker, but I wanted a little bit more, and Omnia Fishing has really stepped up. They really have to support us, and I'm going to help them out any way we can as well to show that support, to show the thanks for their support. Thomas, you're going out tomorrow. I may get a chance to go out tomorrow afternoon after work. Weather's going to be good. It's going to be those southwest winds here in Virginia. In my experience of bass fishing, when you get warm temperatures in the spring and you get those southwest winds at 10 to 15, whoo, that's really good bass fishing. And the moon phase is pretty much in your favor right now. I mean, I think it was a dark of the moon was Wednesday, or maybe tonight or Tuesday night. So 2 or 3 days before and after the full moon and the dark of the moon is usually the best fishing. But when you get the weather in the right pattern, like it is right now with those southwest winds, it's good fishing. So I'm going to get out there and see if I can catch a tank. I've already been pretty lucky so far this year. If you guys haven't watched my last video that I put out, I got a 6.5 pounder, an 8 pounder, a 5 pounder, a 4 pounder. I didn't put there's another one I didn't put on the video. I'm trying to save it for another one, but I'll give you to tell you, I caught a 5 pounder I didn't put on video, but that was just a heck of a day. And it was a windy day in the spring with the moon phase right, and really got lucky on the lake. Caught some big bass a couple weeks ago. So is there anyone that see if we got make sure I'm not missing anybody on the comments. Looks like we're good. So if there's no questions, I mean, we got 21 people in here. I mean, we can talk about anything you want. You know, we do. I know there's quite a few people that probably just come back from fishing now that the time has changed. I know John and Lindy are coming back, but if there's something you want to throw out there, discuss, or jump up in here in the window, please feel free to do so. We can I'm open to any type of discussion or any type of questions. I will just throw out, if you have friends that are in the western United States that haven't heard about our tournaments, the West Coast Big Bass Tournament starts the 11th of April. That's the region I haven't got a lot of. I think I'm at 29, 30 folks that are going to fish that tournament. Right now, I'd like to see a lot more folks from the West. I realize that there's not a lot of bass fishing in Utah and Colorado, but I've got folks from Oregon, Washington, Arizona, a lot from California, a couple from Nevada, actually Colorado. Matter of fact, I think I even got a Montana, which is kind of odd. There's bass in every state in the lower 48, but you know, and you could win it in a big bass competition, come from anywhere. But if you know anybody in the West, that starts in April. The North, I have noticed that it's starting to warm up a little bit in New York and Minnesota and Wisconsin and those states, and I'm starting to get a lot of folks going, I'm interested in a big bass competition for the North, which starts 10 May, if I'm not mistaken. You can look on the website to make sure, but got quite a few people jumping into that tournament. But just for everybody's essay, the 5 bass draw tournament, which was really popular last year, that will start in the summer, and that is nationwide. That is a nationwide format. Doesn't matter which region you're in. We do that 5 bass draw, and if you follow that last year, it doesn't matter where you live. It depends on how you register your fish and what size and what you can catch. It makes a huge difference. And Patrick from Paul Man's Fishing won that tournament. He won it from the bank and from a kayak. He fished both from the bank and from the kayak and won that. And he had 5 bass. That, the length was 101.5 inches, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. But we had a lot of folks in the first half of that tournament that did real well. But in the 5 bass draw format, all your fish in the second half had to be larger than the fish that you turned in the first half. So if you turned in a 20-incher in the first half, you have to have a 20 1/4 or larger to register that in the second half. So it's really got to be really strategic how you turn your fish in. It's really a great format. So I know all of you are focused on this big bass tournament right now, but the 5 bass draw is just a fun tournament. So, all right, folks. Well, I'll tell you what, if no one has any questions, I don't see any more chat. And I'm hoping I'm still online. I haven't seen any indication that I've got a hiccup. We'll cut this short tonight. And thank you all for stopping by. Real quick, I'll throw up one more time for any of the folks that just came in. I'll throw up the standings, the current standings as we have it now. Let me go to share my screen. Present. I do this every day for work. You'd think I have this down. And again, there we go. In order. Kevin Adams, first place. Josh Caney in second. Carlos Maldonado in third. If we are going by weight, Josh is winning, but it's a length first tournament. Doesn't matter if your fish weighs 2 pounds. The length is what matters for our tournaments. The weight is just a tiebreaker. So there you have it, folks. I'll stop the share. And let's see, somebody else. Headed to Lake Guntersville in Alabama this weekend. Finally get a great week off, and we'll be at Tim Ford's in Tennessee all next week. Hey, Scott, well, good luck. Guntersville is a great lake. Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, the Lunkers Club that I fished with Gary, they're thinking about going to Guntersville next year. So I would love to fish Lake Guntersville. And one of my friends here, Marty, from Marty's Ripping Lips YouTube channel, he goes down to Lake Guntersville all the time. He says it's great fishing. So good luck, Scott. Hopefully you catch a big one or several big ones. So, all right, everybody. Good night. Thanks again. I appreciate everybody jumping in here. If you and Gary just said yes, we are going to Lake Guntersville next year. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to email me. And again, look for an email from me. And I hate to be spamming you. I'm not trying to spam you, but I want to get that discount code out to Omnia Fishing out to everybody. So you'll see that in the next 3 or 4 days. So again, thanks everybody. Have a good night. Keep the fishing up and tight lines.